Like these people, they're not acting. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they act stupid, but they're not acting like they used to. They're not acting anymore. They're just there. They're there, all acting stupid and all throwing indirects. All throwing indirects. I don't like. I went to church right now, and I don't see one person, not one person that I think that I can say to myself, that guy, he's asleep. That guy doesn't know. That guy has not lived a prior life. Not one. And so you're to say, are you crazy? Are you telling me that you went into a church and that all the people inside the church are condemned? I would say yes. Say yes. That once a Christian maintains sin free, they only surround you more and more and more and more and more. And that's why I'm surrounded, you know, because of them. And well, this is what's happening now. You know, this is what's happening now where they're talking shit to me indirectly and not even acting. You know, and to all that, I find it like frustrating. To all that, I find it frustrating not to be able to tell somebody, you know, not to be able to tell somebody, to not receive any positive advice whatsoever, to explain to somebody the basic flaws of life, you know, the basic flaws in reality, in a fake censored reality, you know, and not receive anything in return, you know. It's kind of stupid, you know, to be able to know exactly what's wrong. Like I like something it would be different if I didn't know what was wrong. If I did not have an idea what was wrong with the fake with reality, you know, it's different, you know. I do know what's going on. I do know the flaws. I do know this. I do know that. But I explain it to somebody, and it's not like nobody cares. It's not like nobody can do something about it. Like do something about it. It's not about that. It's about them defending. You know what I'm saying? Why doesn't nobody do nothing about it? Because they're all standing united. You know, and I go back to saying that I know people don't understand what I'm saying. I know it. But I'm gonna speculate it, and I'm gonna emphasize so that everybody could understand what is it that they do as a congregation of the devil when a Christian is born. When a Christian is born, what is it that they do? I'm gonna emphasize. And so, like I said, they're no longer acting. They're no longer acting. You know, so I have come to pass that phase of, you know what? Why argue with you when I know who you are? When I know you're a condemned soul? You know, why argue with a group of people? You know, their objective is to manipulate me. Their objective is to get me to marry one of them ugly little fucking he-she's. Their objective, you know, is to condemn little by little. Because if you're aware, they're not gonna try to condemn you like that. They're gonna take their time. But I think, you know, that this administration that is stalking me, harassing me, is 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 is, is basically fucked. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody in my position gonna be 40 will do what they say. You know, they're the majority. They're the majority. They're the Christians. They're an entire congregation of Christians, supposedly. Do what they say. You know, if they say marry this one, marry that one, and see what happens. But time is an aspect. You know, I'm 40 years old already this year. 40 years old. All the females my age are extremely freaking ugly, extremely old. Like, you know, and then they want to marry me with some 15-year-old. And to all that, you know, like I said, it's very frustrating to not be able to tell anybody, to not be able to, how would you say it, find some solid ground. It's frustrating. But to all that, to all this 20 years that are going to pass, these next 20 years that are soon going to pass, you know, I say, you know what? I never realized that I was fighting an underworld administration. I never knew that. And now that I do know, you know, it's easy, you know what, to ignore them, that they are what surround me. It's easy to ignore them, to say, oh, you know what? All right, fine. I won't touch topic. I won't talk about the flaws, the obvious flaws in reality. I won't do nothing like that. I'll just wait for this generation to grow old. Because it's useless arguing with idiots. You're never going to win. You know, they're prepared. They're prepared to lie and deceive. They're never going to tell you what you want to hear. They're never going to agree with you. You know, as obvious as the lies are, they'll never agree. You have to be specific. You have to be specific. You have to be detailed. You have to make a report. In order for them to agree with anything that I have to say, I have to do that. Because otherwise they'll act stupid. Something that I've seen numerous times. But, you know, regardless if they agree with me or whether they don't, after my reports, it doesn't matter whether they agree or whether they don't agree. Time will pass. Time will pass, and this fake reality that they so strongly defend will be in the past. You know, because it's their fake reality. You know, it's their it's their fake reality. You know, and as soon as their administration falls, the reality is going to change. The reality will change. You know, is what I want to say, that the reality will change. And that it's just a matter of time. Because this is bullshit, you know. This is bullshit, to not be able to talk to anybody, to be surrounded by an administration of the underworld, people that have lived numerous lives, demons that are prepped and pending in every single corner. It's messed up. And like I said, you can't argue. You can't try to have somebody understand you, because they're all part of it. They're all part of it.